Taman wiped the grease from his hands and looked at the clock on the wall. 3 in the morning. Another long night shift was finally over. His back hurt from bending over the cargo ship's engine for 6 hours straight. The thruster system had been a mess, but he fixed it. He always fixed things. That was his job. He walked through the empty corridors of Port Station Meridian 7. His boots made quiet sounds on the metal floor. The station was huge, like a small city floating in space. During the day, thousands of people moved through these halls. Humans, aliens, traders, travelers. But at night it was peaceful and quiet. Taman liked the night shift. Fewer people meant fewer problems. The food court was almost empty. Only one noodle shop was still open. The owner, an old human woman, knew him well. She started making his order before he even asked. Spicy ramyun with extra vegetables and synthetic protein. It was cheap and filling. Taman ate the same thing almost every night. He paid with his credit chip and took the hot container. The smell made his stomach growl. He found a table in the corner and sat down. The noodles were good, spicy enough to wake him up. He ate slowly, thinking about nothing in particular. His apartment was waiting for him. A small room with a bed, a shower, and not much else. He lived alone and he was used to it. Taman ate about half the noodles and then stopped. He never finished his meals anymore. It had become a habit over the past few months. He closed the container and stood up. The old woman watched him leave, shaking her head slightly. She probably thought he was wasteful, but Taman had his reasons. He took a different route back to his quarters. This path went past the docking bays, through the maintenance areas where few people walked. Behind Docking Bay 7 there was a small space between 2 large storage units. Taman stopped there and looked around. The area was dark and quiet. He placed the food container on the ground behind a maintenance shed where the cameras could not see. Then he stepped back and waited. It only took a minute. Small creatures appeared from the shadows. They looked like cats from Earth, but with 6 legs and scales instead of fur. People on the station called them skitters. Nobody knew where they came from originally, but they lived in the walls and tunnels of every space station. 3 skitters approached the container carefully. They sniffed the air and then started eating the noodles. Taman smiled. He had been feeding them for months now. It started by accident. One night he saw a skitter looking thin and sick. He left some food. The next night he did it again. Now it was part of his routine. The skitters finished eating and ran back into the shadows. Taman picked up the empty container. He would wash it later. He turned to leave and then stopped. His work tablet. He had left it near the maintenance shed when he put down the food. Stupid mistake. He needed that tablet for tomorrow's work orders. Taman turned around and walked back. It had only been a few minutes. The tablet was right where he thought, sitting on a metal crate beside the shed. He picked it up and checked that it still worked. Everything was fine. He turned to leave again. That was when he heard the sound. A small noise like something moving, not the quick scratching of skitters. Something else. Something bigger. Taman turned slowly. His eyes had adjusted to the dark. He could see shapes near where he had left the food container. 3 shapes. They were not skitters. They were too tall, even though they were crouching low to the ground. They were gathered around the empty container, and one of them was licking the inside. His first thought was that they were children. His second thought was that they were not human children. Their skin seemed to glow slightly in the dark. Soft blue and purple and gold light came from patterns on their skin. They wore clothes that were torn and dirty. They were very thin. The 3 figures froze when they noticed him. They stared at Taman with large eyes that reflected the station lights. Nobody moved. Taman could see fear on their faces. The same kind of fear he had seen on the skitters when humans got too close. One of them, the tallest, moved slowly in front of the other 2, protecting them. She was a girl, Taman thought. Maybe 12 years old if she aged like humans did. The 2 behind her were smaller, a boy and a younger girl. They were all shaking. Taman stood very still. His mind was racing. These were not humans. They were aliens, but they were children. And they were eating leftovers from the ground like animals. What were children doing alone on the station? Where were their parents? The tall girl said something. Her voice was soft and scared. Taman did not understand the words. Then a small device on her collar made a beeping sound. It was a translator, but it sounded broken. The words came out in pieces. Please. Sorry. We go. Hungry. Please not tell. Her standard Galactic was broken and hard to understand, but Taemin understood enough. They were begging him not to report them. They were hungry. They were hiding. Taemin looked at them more carefully now. Their clothes were too thin for the station's temperature. He could see bruises on their skin under the glowing patterns. The youngest one, the little girl, was holding something close to her chest. A toy, maybe? Something old and worn. He recognized that look, the desperate hunger, the fear of being caught, the feeling of having nowhere to go. He had seen it before, a long time ago, in a mirror, during the resource wars on Earth, when he was young and his family had nothing. When strangers either helped or they walked past. When a single meal could mean everything. Taemin took a slow breath and made a decision. He slowly lowered himself to one knee. He wanted to be less frightening. The children watched him with wide eyes. He reached into his jacket pocket, moving very slowly. They tensed, ready to run. He pulled out a protein bar. It was his emergency snack, something he kept for long shifts. He placed it on the ground between them. Then he pushed it forward gently with his hand. "It's okay," he said quietly. "It's yours. You can have it." The translator on the girl's collar beeped again. She seemed to understand, but she did not move. She did not trust him yet. Taemin understood that too. He stood up slowly and took several steps backward. He gave them space. The three children watched him. Then the tall girl reached forward and grabbed the protein bar. She opened it and broke it into 3 pieces. She gave pieces to the younger 2. They ate quickly, desperately, like they had not eaten in days. Taemin watched them. His mind was already working on a bigger problem. These children were alone. They were hiding. They were starving. If he left them here, what would happen to them? If he reported them to station security, what would happen then? He thought about his small apartment, his quiet, simple life, his routine. Everything could change if he got involved. Everything could become complicated and difficult, but they were children, just children. And they were hungry. Taemin looked at his work tablet. He looked at the 3 small figures eating the protein bar. He thought about the hot shower waiting in his quarters. He thought about walking away. He thought about the stranger who had given him food during the war, when he was young and scared and alone. He thought about what kind of person he wanted to be. The decision was not really a decision at all. Taemin did not leave. Instead, he sat down on a metal crate about 3 meters away from the children. He made sure to move slowly, to look calm. The 3 alien children stopped eating and watched him with nervous eyes. The tall girl moved in front of the smaller 2 again, protecting them. "I'm not going to hurt you," Taemin said softly. He knew they probably did not understand much. Their translator was clearly broken, but maybe his tone would help. Maybe they could hear that he was not angry. He pointed to himself. "Taemin. My name is Taemin." The tall girl stared at him. Her translator beeped weakly. After a long moment, she pointed to herself. "Liz," she said. Her voice was quiet. Then she pointed to the boy behind her. "Core." Then to the smallest girl. "Penny," Taemin nodded. "Liz, Core, and Penny. Okay, good." They sat in silence for a while. The station hummed around them, the sound of air systems and distant machinery. Taemin tried to think of what to say, what to ask. These children were clearly in trouble, but he needed to understand their situation before he could help. He pointed at their clothes, then made a gesture like he was cold, hugging himself. "Are you cold?" Liz seemed to understand. She nodded. "Yes, cold. Always cold here." Her species probably came from a warmer planet. The station kept its temperature comfortable for humans and most other species, but that might still be too cold for them. Taemin made a mental note. They would need warmer clothes. He pointed at the empty food container. "How long? How many days since you ate?" Liz looked confused. Her translator struggled with the question. Taemin tried again, simpler. He held up his fingers. "1 day? 2 days? 3? She seemed to understand. She held up both hands, showing all her fingers. 10. They had not eaten properly in 10 days. Taemin felt his chest tighten. 10 days. These children had been starving for 10 days. How were they even alive? He looked at little Penny, who was still clutching her worn toy. She looked so small and fragile. Her glowing patterns were very dim, barely visible. "Where are your parents?" Taemin asked. "Your mother, father?" Liz's face changed. The glow of her skin patterns dimmed even more. She looked down. "Dead," she said quietly. "They dead," the translator beeped. Behind her, little Penny started to make a soft sound. Not crying exactly, but something similar. A sad humming. Kor put his arm around her. Taman felt something break inside his chest. Orphans. These were orphan children, alone on a space station, hiding and starving. How did this happen? Where did they come from? "I'm sorry," he said. He meant it. "I'm very sorry." Liz looked up at him. Her large eyes were wet. "You not tell station people? Please, they send us away. Back to Warplace. We die there." Warplace. Taman remembered the rumors he had heard. A species called the Valkyrie. Their planet was being destroyed by a civil war. Refugees were trying to escape. But the station authorities were turning most of them away. "No room," they said. "No resources. Not our problem. These must be Valkyrie children." Somehow they had made it to the station. And now they were hiding because they knew they would be sent back. Taman rubbed his face with his hands. This was bigger than just giving food to some skitters. This was serious. If he helped these children, he would be breaking station law, hiding illegal refugees. He could lose his job. He could get arrested. He could get thrown off the station. But if he reported them, they would be sent back to a war zone. They would probably die. He looked at the three children. Liz was trying to be brave, but he could see she was terrified. Kor was thin and pale, his golden skin patterns barely glowing. Penny was so young, too young to understand why the world was so cruel. Taman had a choice to make. He could walk away, call security, let someone else deal with it, go back to his quiet, simple life, or he could help them. He thought about his small apartment. 1 room, 1 bed, not enough space for 4 people. He thought about his job. If anyone found out, everything would fall apart. He thought about how complicated his life would become. Then he thought about being young and hungry. He thought about the stranger who had shared their rice during the war. He thought about the kindness that had saved his life. "Okay," Taman said. He stood up slowly. "Okay, come with me." Liz stood up too, pulling her siblings close. "Where we go?" "My home, my apartment." "You need food. You need to be warm. You need to be safe." "Why?" Liz asked. Her voice was full of confusion.
"Why you help?"
"Humans not required to help Valkyrie. You not know us." Taman thought about how to answer. He did not know these children. They were not his responsibility. Nobody would blame him for walking away, but he could not do it. He could not leave them here to starve. "Where I come from," he said slowly. "We have a saying. If you have rice, you share the rice. Do you understand? If I have food, I share food. You are children. That is all that matters." Liz stared at him. Her translator beeped as it processed his words. Then slowly she nodded. "We come with you." "Good, but we need to be careful. We cannot let anyone see you. Do you understand? If people see you, they will take you away. We understand. We good at hiding. We hide for many days already." 6 days, Kor said suddenly. It was the first time he had spoken. His voice was rough and tired. "We hide 6 days, since we arrive on station. 6 days of hiding in the cold, dark maintenance tunnels. 6 days of eating trash and trying not to be seen." Taman felt anger rise in his chest. Not at the children, at the world, at the system that let this happen. "Okay," he said. "Follow me. Stay close. Stay quiet." He led them through the maintenance corridors. These paths were old and rarely used. Taman knew them well from his years working on the station. He knew where the cameras were. He knew which routes the security patrols took. He knew how to move through the station without being noticed. The children followed him like shadows. They were good at being quiet, too good. They had learned to survive by being invisible. It took 20 minutes to reach his apartment block. They had to stop several times when they heard people coming. The children would freeze, pressing themselves against the walls, becoming very still. Their glowing patterns would dim almost to nothing. Taman realized it was a defense mechanism. They could control their bioluminescence. Finally, they reached his door. Taman checked the hallway. Nobody around. He quickly unlocked the door and ushered the children inside. He closed and locked the door behind them. His apartment was small. 1 room with a bed, a tiny kitchen area, a bathroom, and not much else. But it was warm. And it was safe. The children stood in the middle of the room looking around with wide eyes. They were shaking, though Taemin was not sure if it was from cold or fear or relief. Probably all three. Sit, he said, pointing to the bed. Rest, I will make food. He went to his small kitchen and opened the food storage. He did not have much. Some rice, some dried vegetables, a few protein packs. Enough for one person, not four. But he would make it work. He would figure it out. He started cooking rice and heating protein soup. While the food was preparing, he found his spare blankets and gave them to the children. They wrapped themselves up immediately, huddling together on his bed. Penny fell asleep almost instantly, still clutching her toy. Kor's eyes were half closed. Only Liz stayed fully awake, watching Taemin with careful attention. The food was ready. Taemin brought it to them. Real food, hot and filling. The children ate like they had never seen food before. They ate too fast, and Taemin had to tell them to slow down. Eating too quickly after starving could make them sick. When they finished, all three children looked better. Their skin patterns glowed brighter. Some color came back to their faces. Penny was already asleep again, curled up on the bed. Kor was fighting to keep his eyes open. You sleep now, Taemin said. You are safe here. I promise, Liz looked at him. You promise? Really promise? I promise. She studied his face for a long moment. Then she nodded. Thank you, Taemin. Thank you for rice. She lay down next to her siblings. Within minutes, all three children were asleep. They looked peaceful for the first time. Safe. Taemin sat in his only chair and looked at them. His life had just become very complicated. He had 3 illegal alien children sleeping in his bed. He had no plan. He had no idea what he was going to do tomorrow, or the day after, or the day after that. But right now, in this moment, 3 children were warm and fed and safe. That was enough. He would figure out the rest later. He would share his rice, just like someone had once shared with him. The first morning was strange. Taemin woke up in his chair with a stiff neck. He had dozed off watching the children sleep. Sunlight came through the window, marking the start of the station's artificial day cycle. The 3 Velkari children were still asleep on his bed, wrapped in blankets. Taemin stood up quietly and stretched. His back hurt. His neck hurt. But that did not matter. He needed to think. He needed a plan. The children could not stay hidden in his apartment forever. But for now, he had to keep them safe. That meant several things. First, food. He did not have enough food for 4 people. Second, clothes. They needed warmer clothes. Third, medical care. They looked malnourished and sick. Fourth, he needed help. He could not do this alone. He made a list in his head while making breakfast. Rice porridge with what little vegetables he had left. It was simple but filling. The smell woke the children. Liz sat up first, immediately alert. She looked around the room quickly like she was checking for danger. When she saw Taemin, she relaxed a little. Kor and Penny woke up more slowly. Good morning, Taemin said. Are you hungry? Penny nodded quickly. Her stomach made a loud noise and everyone heard it. Even Kor smiled a little. It was the first time Taemin had seen any of them smile. They ate breakfast together. Taemin watched them carefully. They ate slower today, more careful. That was good. Last night they had been desperate. Today they had hope. After breakfast, Taemin needed to explain the rules. Listen carefully, he said. You must stay in this apartment. You cannot go outside. You cannot make loud noise. If people hear children here, they will come check. Do you understand? All 3 nodded. Liz spoke for them. We understand. We stay quiet. We stay hidden. Good, I need to go to work soon. I work at night usually, but I need to get supplies today. I will lock the door. Do not open it for anyone. Only for me. What if someone comes? Liz asked. Hide in the bathroom. It is small, but you can all fit. Stay very quiet until they leave. Taemin showed them where everything was. The bathroom. The water. The food storage. He did not have much to show. His apartment was very simple. But it was more than they had before. One more thing, Taemin said. I have a friend. Her name is Bo Young. She is a medical person. She helps sick people. I think you need medical help. Can I bring her here? She is safe. She will not tell anyone. Liz looked at her brother and sister. Kor looked worried. Penny just looked tired. Finally, Liz nodded. Okay, we trust you. If you say she's safe, we believe. Taemin felt the weight of that trust. These children were putting their lives in his hands. He could not let them down. He left the apartment and went to the market district. He needed to be smart about this. If he suddenly bought lots of food and children's clothes, people might ask questions, so he went to different shops. One shop for rice and dried goods, another shop for protein, a third shop for vegetables. He bought a few pieces of clothing from a recycling store, the kind where nobody asked questions. Then he went to the medical section and found Bo Young. She was working at a small clinic, treating a Felixian trader's twisted ankle. Bo Young was 10 years older than Tai Min and had been on the station much longer. They were friends, sort of. They sometimes shared meals and complained about station management together. He waited until she was done with her patient. Then he approached her carefully. "Bo Young, I need to talk to you." "In private?" She looked at him curiously. "What is wrong? You look tired." "I am tired. But that is not—" "Can we talk somewhere quiet?" They went to a storage room behind the clinic. Taemin made sure nobody could hear them. Then he told her everything. He watched her face change as he talked. Surprise, shock, worry, but not anger. Never anger. When he finished, Bo Young was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. "You are hiding 3 illegal refugee children in your apartment." "Yes." "You could get arrested for this." "Yes." "You could lose your job. Get thrown off the station." "I know." Bo Young looked at him. Really looked at him. "Let me see them," she said finally. They went back to Taemin's apartment together. He unlocked the door and called softly. "Liz, it is me. I brought Bo Young." The bathroom door opened slowly. 3 pairs of eyes looked out nervously. When they saw it was just Taemin and one other person, they came out. Bo Young stared at them. Taemin saw her face change. She was a medical professional. She saw what he saw. Malnourished children. Bruised skin. Fearful eyes. Children who had suffered. She knelt down to their level. "Hello," she said gently. "My name is Bo Young. I am a healer. Can I check if you are healthy?" Liz translated for her siblings using their own language. It sounded like music, soft and flowing. Then she nodded to Bo Young. "You can check us." Bo Young examined each child carefully. She was gentle and slow, explaining everything she was doing. She checked their eyes, their mouths, their skin. She asked questions about pain, about symptoms. She used a small medical scanner that she had brought. When she was done, she stood up and looked at Taemin. Her face was serious. "They are malnourished, dehydrated. They need vitamins and minerals. Penny has a respiratory infection. Kor has bruising on his ribs, probably from falling or being hit. Liz is the healthiest, but even she is not well. Can you help them?" "Yes, but I need to bring medicine, supplements, proper food for their species." "Do you know what Velkari need to eat?" "No. I just gave them human food. Human food is okay for short term, but they need different nutrients long term. Their biology is different from ours." Bo Young looked at the children again. "I will bring what they need. But Taemin, this is serious. They cannot stay hidden forever. What is your plan?" "I do not have a plan yet. I am just trying to keep them alive." Bo Young sighed. "Okay, for now we keep them safe. I will help you. But we need to think about the future." "I know. Thank you, Bo Young." She smiled a little. "What are friends for? If you are going to do something crazy, at least you should not do it alone." Over the next 3 weeks, a routine developed. Taemin worked night shifts and spent his days with the children. Bo Young brought medicine and proper food. She came to check on them every few days, always being careful not to be noticed. The children started to heal. Their skin patterns grew brighter. They gained weight. Penny's infection cleared up. Kor's ribs healed. They smiled more. They talked more. Taemin learned about them. Liz was 12 years old. She was smart and responsible, always protecting her younger siblings. Kor was 9, quiet but curious about everything. He liked to watch Taemin fix things and ask questions. Penny was 6, sweet and loving. She followed Taemin everywhere when he was home. They learned about each other's cultures. The Velkari showed emotions through their skin patterns. Bright colors meant happy. Dim colors meant sad or scared. They did not hug like humans. Instead, they touched foreheads gently. They ate differently, slept differently, even breathed differently. Taemin taught them about humans. He showed them how to read human letters. He told them stories about Earth. He taught them songs, even though he could not sing well. Penny loved the songs. She would hum them all day. One night, about 3 weeks after he found them, something important happened. The children had been restless all evening. Their skin patterns were flickering in strange ways. Finally, Liz spoke up. Taemin, we need to sing our feelings tonight. It is our way. We must do it every 7 days or we get sick, but our songs are loud. You said we must be quiet. Taemin thought about this. What happens if you do not sing? We get sick, very sick. Our colors stop working. We cannot eat. It is bad. He could not let them get sick. But loud singing would bring attention. He needed a solution. Okay, he said. The bathroom. The walls are thicker there. And I will turn on music out here, loud music. It will cover your sounds. They tried it. The children went into the bathroom. Taemin played loud human music in his apartment. Then the children sang. Even through the walls and over the music, Taemin could hear them. It was beautiful and strange. Their voices made sounds that human voices could not make. High and low at the same time, like crystals ringing. It gave him a headache, but he did not care. The children needed this. When they came out, all three looked better. Their patterns were bright and healthy. Penny ran to Taemin and touched her forehead to his hand, the Valkyrie way of showing affection. Thank you, Guardian Heart, she said. Guardian Heart? Taemin asked, Liz explained. It is what we call someone who protects us. In your language, maybe? Parent, but deeper. Someone who guards our hearts. Taemin felt his throat tighten. He was not their parent. He was just a mechanic who could not walk away from hungry children. But if they wanted to call him that, he would not argue. That night, after the children were asleep, Taemin sat in his chair and thought about the future. He could not keep them hidden forever. Eventually, someone would find out. The question was what would happen then. He needed a real plan. He needed a solution. But for now, 3 children were safe and healing. That had to be enough. 2 months passed. The children grew stronger every day. Taemin's small apartment became a home. He bought a folding mat so the children could sleep on the floor and he could use his bed again. He found a way to get more food without raising suspicion. He changed his work schedule to spend more time with them. His life was exhausting, but full in a way it had never been before. Kor loved learning about machines. Taemin brought home broken devices from work and showed him how to fix them. The boy had natural talent. His thin fingers could reach into small spaces. His mind understood how pieces fit together. Sometimes Taemin thought Kor was smarter than him. Penny learned human letters and could now read simple books. Taemin found children's books at the recycling market. She especially loved stories about animals. She would make Taemin read the same stories over and over. Her favorite was about a lost cat who found a home. Liz was different. She studied everything carefully. She watched the door. She listened to sounds in the hallway. She never fully relaxed. She was still the protector, still worried about danger. Taemin understood. She had kept her siblings alive through terrible things. She could not stop being afraid just because they were safe now. One evening, Taemin tried to talk to her about it. The younger 2 were asleep. Liz was sitting by the window looking at the stars through the station's dome. You do not have to protect them alone anymore, Taemin said quietly. I am here now. Liz was quiet for a long moment. What if you are not here one day? What if someone takes us away? What if— Liz, look at me, she turned. In the dim light, her silver blue patterns glowed softly. I will not let anyone take you. I promise. I am working on a plan to keep you safe. A real plan. But you need to let me help carry the weight. You are just a child. You should not have to worry so much. I do not feel like a child anymore. I have not felt like a child since our home planet burned. Taemin's heart ached for her. She was 12 but had lived through more than most adults. Then let me worry for a while. You rest, be a kid. Just for a little while. Liz looked at him with her large, strange eyes. Then she nodded slowly. Okay, Guardian Heart. I will try. It was not perfect. But it was progress. Bo-young became a regular visitor. She brought medicine and food supplements. She also brought other things. A small game device for the children to play with. Drawing materials. A datapad with educational programs. She never asked Taemin what his long-term plan was anymore. She just helped. One day she brought someone else. Taemin was nervous when Bo-young arrived with another person, a man named Woo-jin. He was a security officer on the station. Taemin's first instinct was to panic. But Bo-young touched his arm and shook her head. Woo-jin is my cousin, she said. He can be trusted. I told him about the children. Woo-jin was a big man with a serious face. But when he saw the 3 Velkari children, his expression softened. He knelt down and spoke gently. "Hello, I am Woojin. I work in security, but I am not here to take you away. I am here to help." The children looked at Taimin. He nodded. "It is okay. He is a friend." Over T. Woojin explained what he could do. "I can watch the patrol schedules. I can make sure nobody comes to this section during inspections. I can warn you if anyone gets suspicious, but—" He looked serious. "There is a problem coming." "What problem?" Taimin asked. "The station authorities are planning a full housing inspection next month. Every apartment, every room, looking for safety violations, illegal activities, unauthorized residents. They do this every year. You cannot hide the children during that." Taimin felt cold. "What do we do?" "I do not know yet, but we have time to figure it out. 1 month." After Woojin left, Taimin sat with his head in his hands. He had known this could not last forever, but he had hoped for more time. 1 month? How could he find a solution in 1 month? Liz came and sat beside him. She did not say anything. She just sat there, her presence steady. Finally, Taimin spoke. "I will not let them take you." "I will find a way." "I know," Liz said. "You are the guardian heart. You keep promises." The next weeks were tense. Taimin spent every free moment trying to think of solutions. He researched laws about refugees. He looked into smuggling operations that might take the children somewhere safe. He calculated costs. Everything was either impossible or too expensive. Then he learned about the Galactic Council delegation coming to the station. They were investigating refugee situations. A human diplomat named Hyunsuk would be leading the team. She was known for being strict but fair. Taimin had an idea. It was crazy and risky, but it might be their only chance. He talked to Bo Young and Woo Jin about it. "What if we present the children's case to the diplomat directly? What if we show her that the children are safe here, that they are integrated, that sending them back would be wrong?" Bo Young looked thoughtful. "It is risky. She could just have them deported immediately. Or," Woo Jin said slowly, "she could see that what you are doing is right. Humans are supposed to care about children. All children. Maybe she will help." "It is a big maybe," Taimin said. "Do we have another choice?" Bo Young asked. They did not. So they started preparing. Bo Young documented everything. The children's health when they arrived versus now. Their progress. Their integration. She wrote reports showing that they were thriving under Taimin's care. Woo Jin found others who were willing to testify. Ji Woo, who ran the cafeteria and had secretly been giving Taimin extra food rations. Mina, a teacher who had been sending educational materials without asking questions. People who had noticed something was different about Taimin but chose to help quietly instead of reporting him. Taimin talked to the children. He tried to explain what was happening. "In 3 days, some very important people are coming to the station. I need to talk to them about you. I need to tell them you are here. It is scary, I know, but it might be our only chance to keep you safe." Penny started to cry. Kor looked terrified, but Liz was calm. "You have a plan, Guardian Heart." "Yes, not a perfect plan, but a plan. Then we trust you." "We trust your plan." The night before the delegation arrived, nobody could sleep. The children were nervous. Taimin was nervous. He kept thinking about everything that could go wrong. What if the diplomat did not care? What if she just followed the law and sent the children back? What if he had made a terrible mistake? He got up in the middle of the night and found all 3 children awake, huddled together on their mat. "Cannot sleep?" he asked. They shook their heads. Taimin sat down with them. "Listen to me. No matter what happens tomorrow, you need to know something. These past 2 months taking care of you have been the best months of my life. You are not a burden. You are not a problem. You are my family now, and families protect each other." Penny crawled into his lap. Kor leaned against his side. Liz touched her forehead to his hand. "You are our family too," Liz said softly. "Our guardian heart." They sat together like that for a long time. A human and 3 alien children. A family that should not exist according to station law, but a family nonetheless. The next morning came too quickly. Taimin got dressed in his best clothes. Bo Young arrived early with Woo Jin. They had arranged a meeting with the diplomat through official channels, requesting a private consultation about refugee policy. "Are you ready?" Bo Young asked. Taimin looked at the 3 children. They were scared but trying to be brave. Just like him. "No," he said honestly, "but we are going anyway." They left the apartment together. All of them. No more hiding. It was time to fight for the right to be a family. The walk through the station felt long. People stared at the three alien children. Some looked curious. Some looked angry. Some looked away. Taman kept the children close. They reached the diplomatic offices. A stern-looking assistant told them to wait. They sat in an uncomfortable waiting room for what felt like hours but was probably only 20 minutes. Finally, the door opened. A woman stood there. She was middle-aged, with gray hair and sharp eyes. She wore the formal clothes of a Galactic Council diplomat. "I am Hyun-suk," she said. "You requested this meeting." "Come in." They entered her office. It was large and cold. Hyun-suk sat behind a big desk and looked at all of them. Her face showed nothing, so she said, "Tell me why you have brought 3 illegal Velkari refugee children to my office." Taemin took a deep breath. Everything depended on what happened next. Because, he said, they are not just refugees. They are my children now, and I am asking you to let them stay. Hyun-suk stared at Taemin for a long moment. Her face was unreadable. Then she looked at the 3 children standing close to him. Liz was in front, protective as always. Kor held Penny's hand. All 3 were trying not to show their fear, but their skin patterns were dim and flickering. "Sit," Hyun-suk said finally. All of you, they sat. The chairs were too big for the children. Penny's feet did not touch the ground. Taemin wanted to put her on his lap, but he was not sure if that was allowed in such a formal setting. Hyun-suk opened a data pad and started reading. According to station records, you are Taemin, 34 years old. Cargo ship mechanic. You have worked on this station for 8 years. No criminal record. No family listed. She looked up. Is that correct? Yes, Taemin said. And these children? They are not registered anywhere. No entry permits. No refugee applications. No records at all. How long have they been on this station? About 2.5 months, Taemin admitted. 2.5 months of illegal residence. Hidden. Unreported. Hyun-suk's voice was sharp. Do you understand the laws you have broken? Yes. Do you understand that I could have you arrested right now? Yes. Then why are you here? Why tell me? You could have continued hiding them. Taemin took a breath. Because hiding is not living. Because they deserve better than to be afraid every day because... He looked at the children. Because they are children and children deserve a chance to have a real home. Hyun-suk was quiet. She looked at the children again. Tell me how this started. All of it, so Taemin told the story, finding them eating his leftovers, taking them to his apartment, learning they were orphans, watching them heal and grow. He did not leave anything out. Bo-young added medical information. Woo-jin explained how he had helped. When they finished, Hyun-suk was silent for a long time. She seemed to be thinking very hard. Finally, she spoke. This is highly irregular. Against protocol. Against station law. Against galactic refugee policies. She paused. But I want to hear from the children. Can they speak for themselves? Liz nodded. Her translator had been fixed by Bo-young and now worked perfectly. Yes, I can speak. Tell me what happened to your family. How did you end up on this station? Liz took a deep breath. Her skin patterns dimmed as she remembered painful things. Our planet, Velkar, was at war. 2 big groups fighting for control. Our city was destroyed. Many died. My parents, they got us onto a refugee ship. They paid all their money. But there was only room for children. They stayed behind. Her voice shook. Kor and Penny moved closer to her. The ship was attacked by raiders. They wanted to sell us as workers. But the ship fought back and escaped. We came to this station, but the ship captain said we could not stay on the ship. He left us in the docking bay. We hid, we were scared. We were hungry. For many days we ate garbage, then Guardian Heart found us. Guardian Heart? Hyun-suk asked. It is what we call Taemin. In our language, it means someone who protects our hearts, someone who guards us. Hyun-suk looked at Taemin. Something in her expression changed slightly. And you, young one, the smallest. What is your name? Penny, the little girl said quietly. Penny. How old are you? 6 years. And you like living with Taemin? Penny nodded quickly. He gives us food. He teaches us things. He reads me stories. He is like a papa. But we call him Guardian Heart. Does he treat you well? Yes, he is very kind. He never hits us. He never yells. When I have bad dreams, he stays with me until I sleep again. Hyun-suk's expression softened just a little. She turned to Kor. "And you, young man? What do you think?" Kor spoke carefully. "Before Guardian Heart, I thought all humans were like the Raiders. Mean and scary. But Guardian Heart is different. He shares his food even when he does not have much. He teaches me about machines. He does not have to be kind, but he is kind anyway. I want to stay with him." Hyun-suk nodded slowly. She made notes on her datapad. Then she looked at Bo-young. "You are a medical professional. You have documentation?" Bo-young handed over her reports. "Yes, complete medical records from when I first examined them to now. The improvement is remarkable. When they arrived, they were severely malnourished, dehydrated, and injured. Now they are healthy and growing properly." Hyun-suk read through the documents. Then she looked at Woo-jin. "And you are a security officer. You knew about this illegal situation and did not report it. Why?" Woo-jin met her eyes steadily. "Because sometimes the right thing to do is not the legal thing to do. These children would have died if Taemin had not helped them. I could not be part of letting children die. That is a dangerous philosophy for a security officer. Maybe, but it is a human philosophy. We protect the weak, especially children." Hyun-suk leaned back in her chair. She was quiet for so long that Taemin started to feel sick with worry. Was she going to say no? Was she going to have them all arrested? Finally, she spoke. "I need to tell you something. Something personal." Everyone waited. "I was 7 years old during the resource wars on Earth. My city was destroyed. My parents died. I was alone, starving, living in ruins. One day an old woman found me. She had almost nothing, just a small bag of rice, but she shared it with me. She took me to a refugee camp. She saved my life." Hyun-suk's voice was steady, but her eyes were distant, remembering. "That old woman told me something. She said, if you have rice, you share the rice. If you have safety, you share safety. That is what makes us human." Taemin felt his throat tighten. Those words, almost the same words he had said to Lis. Hyun-suk looked at him directly. "You said something similar to these children, did you not?" "Yes, my grandmother used to say it. She also saved someone during the wars, fed them when she barely had food for herself. Then you understand. That philosophy, that stubbornness to help even when it is hard, that is what makes humanity special. Not our technology, not our weapons, our compassion." She stood up. Everyone tensed. "What you have done is illegal, but it is also brave and right. And I am going to help you." Taemin could not believe what he was hearing. You are going to help?" "Yes, but we need to do this properly. I am going to present your case to the full Galactic Council. I am going to argue for a new policy. A policy that says children are always given asylum no matter what. A policy based on human values. Will it work?" Bo-young asked. "I do not know. The council is complicated. Many species do not think like humans do. They do not understand our attachment to children who are not our own. But I am going to try." Hyun-suk looked at the children. "You three, are you willing to testify before the council? To tell your story?" Lis looked at her siblings, then at Taemin. He nodded encouragingly. She turned back to Hyun-suk. "Yes, we will tell our story." "Good, the hearing will be in 3 days. Until then, you will stay with Taemin. Officially, I am granting temporary emergency custody." "Just like that?" Taemin asked. "Just like that. I have the authority as a council representative. Use these 3 days well, prepare, rest, be a family." They left the office in a daze. Outside in the hallway, they all stood together. Nobody spoke for a moment. Then Penny started crying. Not sad crying. Happy crying. Kor hugged his sisters. Lis's skin patterns glowed bright gold, the color of joy. Taemin knelt down and the 3 children rushed to him. They touched foreheads the Valkyrie way, and then Penny hugged him the human way, then Kor, then even Lis. They stood there in the hallway holding each other while people walked past and stared. Bo-young and Woo-jin smiled. "Come on," Bo-young said. "Let's go home. You have a big day ahead in 3 days. You need to prepare." The next 3 days were strange. They were both the longest and shortest days of Taemin's life. He helped the children practice what they would say. He made sure they had nice clothes to wear. Bo-young helped them look presentable. Woo-jin arranged for other humans on the station to attend the hearing as supporters. The morning of the hearing, Taemin barely slept. He got up early and made a special breakfast. Rice with vegetables and protein, the best he could make. The children ate quietly. They were nervous. Listen to me, Tamin said. No matter what happens today, I want you to know something. You are brave. You are strong. You have survived terrible things. Today you just need to tell the truth. Can you do that? All three nodded. Liz spoke for them. We can do that. We will make you proud, Guardian Heart. You already make me proud. Every day. The hearing was held in the station's council chamber. It was a huge room with seats rising in tiers. Representatives from dozens of species sat watching. Taemin had never seen so many different aliens in one place. It was intimidating. Hyun-suk stood at the front. She presented the case clearly and passionately. She showed Bo Young's medical records. She called witnesses who testified about how well the children were doing. She argued that Taemin's actions represented the best of humanity and should be celebrated, not punished. Then it was time for the children to speak. One by one, they stood up and told their stories. Liz spoke about losing her parents. Kor spoke about being hungry and scared. Penny spoke about nightmares and how Taemin made them go away. When Penny said, Guardian Heart did not ask what species we were, he just asked if we were hungry. There was silence in the room. Even the most alien representatives seemed to understand that simple statement.